Hey guys, it's Rescue Rabbit 101 here, and today we're talking about, well, it's Tuesday. So normally we'd have a Tech Tuesday segment today. But what I felt Tech Tuesday was becoming into was, let's list off floodgates and explain what decks they beat. Cough cough, the meta. So I don't really feel there's a need for that. So what I'm going to do is, if any of you want to see a Tech Tuesday segment about your specific deck, leave the deck you want to see the segment on down in the comments section below. I will still continue to upload on Tuesdays, but I'll probably do more card set reviews and just my thoughts, more discussion videos versus the Tech Tuesdays, because if I feel like if I'm not doing it for a specific deck, I'm just going to give you guys a floodgate, and I don't think that's really helpful, nor the best content I can put out. So, today we're talking about the new card that was just released in the anime, and it's Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon. Now, I'm going to look at this from a logical standpoint. First of all, I think we may get this card, or we might not, but I think we are at some point going to get Pendulum Monsters, where it's not a normal or effect monster, it's an extra deck card as the other half. Because that just sounds like something that would happen, something that would make sense. So while we might not get this exact card, I do see a future for this. So let's just go over its effect. So it's a dark Dragon Xyz Pendulum with rank 7, attack 3000, defense 2500, and it requires 2 level 7 Dragon type monsters. So right off the bat, it's pretty hard to make, and frankly, if you had 2 level 7s, judging just based by this thing's effect, I think Dracosack and Big Eye are going to be your primary go-to cards here. So, let's start with its Pendulum effect. Once per turn, if you do not have a card in your other Pendulum zone, you can choose one Pendulum monster from your deck and place it in that Pendulum zone. Now, if this was just a regular monster card that you could plop in your Pendulum zone, the card would be absolutely broken. Every single deck would play it. But, if we look at it from a logical standpoint, the big Pendulum decks, I'm going to exclude DDDs here because I don't know enough about DDD, but the big Pendulum deck that I can think of off the top of my head is Cleethort, and I think the Zethras are coming. But neither of those decks, I don't think, have level 7 dragons. And even so, you have to Xyz into it, and as we're going to see with its monster effect is really not that good for the cards we have out right now. Now, we might get something that makes this card super viable. I don't know. However, if it was just a main deck monster, all the Pendulum decks would play because it is Pendulum Scale 4, meaning it would actually complement the Cleethort deck, kind of like how the Performer Pal Kitty Cat did. Because, keep in mind, when Pendulum summoning the Cleethorts, they count as their original level, so there is actually no level 4 Cleethort monster that is a Pendulum. However, it's an extra deck monster. Now, let's get on to its actual effect. 2 level 7 Dragon type monsters. If this card is Xyz summoned using an Xyz monster that was treated as a level 7 monster as any of its materials, destroy as many level 7 or lower monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the total attack of those destroyed monsters had on the field. Alrighty, let's just look at this first part of the effect. Okay. First of all, Xyz monsters, as of right now, cannot have ranks. Levels, sorry. They have ranks. So you can't actually trigger its first effect. Now, I understand the anime he used a card to do it, but when we get that card, what it might say is make an Xyz monster's rank its level instead. I don't actually know what the card was, but if that is the card, that means you can only use a rank 7 to make a rank 7. Now, it's a powerful board nuke, except level 7, not level/rank, level only. So, let's look at the meta. Necross. Yes, I can nuke off your whole board unless you have an Xyz on the field, because those are ranks, or unless you have Valkyris, or Trish, or Decisive Armor. Or, unless I pitch Gungnir out of my hand. And even if you do get to attack, with its other effect, I can pitch the other card. Against Cleethort, yes, it will nuke my board, unless I tribute summon to the monster. No, unless I tribute summoned a stealth. If you tribute summon Disc, Disc will still die. So you can get a board nuke against Cleveland, and that's pretty good given its second effect. And then any Exceed based deck this card just doesn't work against. So keep in mind though, first of all, its effect is at the moment impossible to trigger, and we probably will get a card that will make it triggerable. But who knows what the card will actually morph into. And then now for the second part of its effect, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the total attack. That's really good. I'm just gonna say that. Especially when we go into the other effect, it's going to get even better. Its other effect is once per turn, you can detach one XYZ material from this card. This card can attack a number of times each battle phase this turn, up to the current number of monsters that were destroyed while in your opponent's possession this turn. If this card leaves the field, you can destroy all other cards in your pendulum zones, and if you do, place this card in your pendulum zone. Now, let's look at the once per turn thing. Now, that does not say destroyed in your opponent's position by this card's effect. It just says destroyed. So if I nuke off 3 of your monsters, let's say I'm playing against Cluthords, I kill 3 of your monsters, burn you for 6,000, and now I get to attack 3 times. However, without its own effect or Raigeki, its detach effect I don't feel is that great. It's great the turn you drop it, but since it's only for this turn, that means that past the first turn, unless you have the Raigeki or some other massive board nuking card, you can't use this effect, because it's not quick, so I can't use it in the battle phase after I've destroyed something. So, I feel you need a field nuke card to make his second effect viable, but his own effect, he can probably swing for game really fast. Now, let's talk about when this card leaves the field. First of all, this is going to open up about 10,000 different ruling questions. Well, the card in general is, first of all, can you Exceed summon it after a pendulum is destroyed? It goes back to the extra deck, right? So, it goes back to the extra deck, and then you can play it, right? Well, what if it gets shuffled back into the hand of the deck? And then it's back in the extra deck face down. Does its effect still trigger? I know Tengu, if I'm not mistaken, you do not actually get a summon off of Tengu, which also says when this card leaves the field, if you shuffle it back into the deck. Well, that also means bouncing it to the hand because the extra deck and shuffling into the deck and bouncing it to the hand are the same for extra deck monsters. What about banishing? Does the card trigger from anywhere? So there's going to be a lot of ruling complications. Now, destroy both cards in your pendulum zones. So they go to the extra deck and then you pendulum zone. Overall, my impression of this card is its pendulum effect is really strong, but I don't feel any of the meta pendulum decks right now, or probably ever, will play this card. I feel the concept of creating an Exceed, or a Synchro, or a Fusion through Pendulum that's also a Pendulum is super interesting. However, I feel it will not really be a practical unless it's archetyped, for the reason that if I'm not mistaken, and no, I'm not mistaken on this, Zethra and Klee, the two large pendulum archetypes, I'm excluding Performance Path from this list. There's a couple others I'm probably forgetting about, but generally, the larger archetypes state you cannot special summon monsters except blanket blank, or blank, listing their own archetype. So you can't actually summon the card, which is annoying. So we either need now a new generic archetype, which would probably open the game up to stupid combos, or they're going to have to start becoming archetyped. Just a thought on that. However, its pendulum effect, like I said, is incredibly strong. I think for right now, the card's effects are impractical in the sense that we can't spawn them. And giving Konami the card that will probably come out that changes ranks to levels will change it, rank 7 to level 7, etc. So, yeah. Rank 7 dragons, I don't know if there's any, but maybe. This guy, no, that's useless. And his attack multiple times effect, like I stated before, is only good if you have a floodgate. So that's just my thoughts on the card. Remember to leave your own thoughts down in the comment section below. Remember to leave anything you want to see on the channel down in the comment section below, or any recommendations you have for me down in the comment section below. Remember to like the video, thumbs up the video, however you want to describe it. Sorry, I think I just copied Nim Nim word for word. Just like the video and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. Rescue Rabbit 101, signing out.